Really? So there's just like a musical number in the middle of the game? Huh. Well, I guess it is impressive that a game with, well, I guess, such a niche kind of story won up for Game of the Year. Well, it's like meta, right? It's like a story within a story, or he's writing the story as the story happens. Yeah, I bet it's confusing, but it all does look very stylish. Like, I saw those graphics. It may as well be full motion video. No, I would never say that. It's not anywhere close to winning an award for most confusing plot. Well, at the Game Awards it might. I guess when it comes to big name titles, it would be the most confusing. But you know me. All of my best games of the year. No one in that room at the Game Awards has ever even heard of them. My pick for Game of the Year? Movie Night, definitely. You won't catch a whiff of that game on official channels. But that's probably a good thing because I do not want to see them get DMCA'd by Konami. Oh, it's indie, alright. I don't even think indie begins to cover what it is. It's made by one guy. Nobody really knows, but, his developer name is, okay, it's Rhythm Up Studios. I know, the name is stupid, but the game is really good and narratively compelling. Okay, so it's a PS1 style horror game. Come on. Okay, it is a little Silent Hill-esque, but it's got like reality warping stuff, and I know you like that. Okay, so it's about this guy named Charles. He's a single father, and okay, yes, his child does die, but it's more complicated than that. Listen to me. It's atmospheric, and it doesn't even take place in the time you would think it does. It's not in the 90s or present day. It takes place in 2007. How many games do you know of that take place in 2007, aside from games that were made that year? The date is relevant because of the changing technology of the time. Things are getting more advanced, everybody's got cell phones, but video stores are still kind of a thing. Yes, because most of the game takes place in a video store. That's why it's called Movie Night, because Charles is taking his son Timmy to get a movie for movie night. I know it sounds like a boring premise, but are you going to play the game? Or do you have any plans to play this game? So, at the video store, Timmy runs off to get a movie, then he comes back with one that's like super gory, it's a horror movie, and Charles tells him, I'm not getting you that movie, so Timmy drops the movie and runs off all upset, and then Charles can't find him, so he goes looking around the store, and he hears a noise coming from the back room. It's not Five Nights at Freddy's. Just listen to me. So he opens the door to the back storeroom, and he sees a man standing over his son, knife in hand, and Timmy is dead. Yes, I know that's where you figured it was going, but it goes deeper than that. The sight of his son's dead body is so traumatic that it breaks reality for him. What that means is that the graphics go crazy. The models for the son and the murderer start devolving and eventually turn into stick figures. The video store itself starts to disintegrate. It's crazy. And then, bam, everything's back to normal and we're back in the regular video store, just before Timmy ran off. Okay, it does have kind of a time loop structure. It's basically going through different scenarios in an attempt to save Timmy's life. It's really interesting. One of the loops through, the posters in the video store seem to be describing what happened to his wife and why he's a single father now. It was not a car accident. Or cancer. As far as, theories of pieced together, it kind of seems like she was just straight up murdered and they never found out who did it. And that leads into Charles's story about being super protective over his son, and that's kind of why, seeing him get killed caused reality to just break for him. There's even a loop where Timmy tries to escape the killer, and him opening the storage room door really fast is also a jump scare, and also causes the world to reset. That one's considered non-canon. Well, the kid's 8 years old. How would he be able to fight off the murderer? Actually, there are a few that are considered non-canon. It's every time that Timmy tries to scare Charles intentionally. And then there's a few loops where Timmy is also the murderer. I don't know what the canonicity of those are. And there is one bit in the destroyed sections where you can find a mirror and Charles just looks like the protagonist of Silent Hill 1. It is just the model from Silent Hill 1 ripped and put into the game, which kind of has me really concerned about him possibly getting sued by Konami and the game getting taken down, but whatever, artistic vision, I guess. Now, I have no respect for copyright law, but I just don't want the game to get taken down. Oh yeah, one of the most interesting loops, and this one became a really big meme in the fandom, is the one where instead of restarting the loop at the video store, it starts at their house. It's a bit you see really briefly at the beginning of the game. Charles gets into his car and then he opens the garage door, and he does it again this time, but this time when he opens the garage door, it's into the video store. Yeah, that led to a lot of great memes of Charles opening the garage door to just random shit. There's actually 3 different endings depending on how you play. Well, 2 of them are kind of depending. The third is okay, well, the ending that's the least canon, I guess, is before Timmy even gets back with the horror movie, you have to leave the video store as quickly as possible, and then it cuts to black. And the end cutscene is Charles getting arrested because he abandoned his child at the video store. The other 2, the bad ending is, it turns out that Charles is the murderer. He comes back to reality just holding a knife over his son's dead body. Okay, and the best ending, I don't know if you could really call it the good ending. There's a lot of trauma there, but if you collect all the clues and you pay attention, you can find out that the murderer is actually the owner of the video store across the street. You never really get a good explanation of his motivations. Some people were saying, oh, it's because if there's a murder at the other video store, his video store will look better. Or some people think that his video store wasn't doing well and he just snapped and decided to kill somebody in the other video store. I don't know. Well, all the hints you find about him are super vague. We know he had a drinking problem, and we know his video store wasn't doing well, but that doesn't really lead to murder a child in the back room of your competitor, right? I don't know. Aside from that one lack of motivation, I found the story very compelling. But they won't tell you about that at the award shows. Yeah, right, I see. It's not for you. You go back to your high production values and award-winning acclaim. Whatever. Yeah, I'm the pretentious gamer now. PS1's making a comeback. Just you wait. Let's see if we can wing it. Fuck it. As Descartes would say, who give a shit?